Okay, so this is a big problem with iPhones depending on the carrier that you have, and we're going to find out if this is still an issue in 2024 because Apple had this genius idea to get rid of the SIM card, third year in a row actually. The 13 Pros were the last phones that had the actual physical SIM card tray unless you buy the phone internationally. So when you go to set up your iPhone, it says this here to transfer your number, right? Well, when you do this, sometimes it doesn't actually work. In fact, I've never been able to actually get this to work. And then what happens, it says there was an error and then you have to call. Well, if you only have one phone, how are you going to call your carrier? Sure, I'm sitting here with my wife right now and she can use her phone or whatever. If I have a second phone, I could do it. But if you're sitting at home all by yourself and you want to transfer your number and then all of a sudden you lose your number off of both phones, what do? I don't know if other cell phone companies have this problem as well. I only use iPhones, but it's a major issue that needs to be fixed. And I'm not sure if it's a problem with iPhones or if it's a problem carrier to carrier. See, I'm still getting an SOS signal here. It says an eSIM from Cricket is ready to be set up on this phone. Let's see if it's actually going to work. Yeah, see, it already said that during the initial setup process. It said that once you transfer, it will stop working, but clearly that didn't happen yet. So let's see if it will happen this second time around. Confirm transfer on your other phone. Same error. That's 3 years in a row that this could not be fixed, okay? And it says unable to transfer phone number. And then what happened to me last year when I did this, both phones actually stopped working. So if it wasn't for my wife's phone, I wouldn't have even been able to call Cricket in order to make this transfer. Now, I will say if you have Visible Wireless, I think they make it a lot easier to transfer the number. I'll be finding out soon because I'll be trying them next after I get this one situated. So to add insult to injury, now I'm on hold with Cricket and they say it's going to take about 15 minutes to get in touch with customer service. Of course, this is iPhone launch day. So you're going to have more and more people have these type of issues on launch day, right? Well, that's all because they just don't have the program set up to easily transfer one eSIM from one phone to another phone. If they just could get this figured out in 2024, we wouldn't have issues like this. So quick update here. I just got this message on my iPhone that has my original phone number from Cricket saying, we're notifying you that a request to move my phone number to a new device or SIM was just received and is about to occur. If you did not initiate this request, call us now. So let's see, maybe it will actually work on its own, but even if it does, the process is flawed to say the least, okay? It doesn't work very smoothly. Yeah, actually now, as I'm sitting here waiting on hold, you guys can see I'm still on hold here. Just now, I see I have service on the new iPhone 16 Pro Max. So a couple problems here. First of all, the process was clunky to say the least. It actually did work. So this is the third year in a row, no SIM card in the iPhone. It looks like I did get service on my new phone without having to actually go through a customer service call with Cricket. I just hung up. But the thing is, this wouldn't have worked if I didn't have the old phone. Like for my wife's case, for right now, we're going to set up hers next. She already traded in her old phone to Apple, so she doesn't have her old phone anymore to transfer like that. So we're going to see if it's the same issue with her or what happens next. So here's something else to note. We're sitting here setting up my wife's new iPhone 16 Pro Max also, and she did a trade-in at the store. So she doesn't have her old phone on her, right? So the problem is when you're going through the Apple setup process to set up the new phone, they want you to do an authentication on another Apple device. Well, not everybody has another Apple device, right? So the only other way to confirm is you have to send a text message to somebody else's phone number. So once again, if you're just sitting at home alone and you're not with any friends or family or don't have anybody near you with another phone, this would literally be impossible. You wouldn't be able to set up the phone. So if you go to the store and do a trade-in, you might want to set up the phone while you're there, because if you come home with the phone without your old phone with you, that could be a problem as well. So yet another problem. So like I said, we're trying to set up my wife's iPhone and it says unable to transfer number. There's an issue transferring your phone from another device. Make sure your other device is passcode protected but unlocked nearby with Bluetooth turned on and running iOS 16 or later. Like I said, we already traded in her old iPhone at the store. So now that we're trying to transfer the phone number to the new phone without the old iPhone, it's giving us problems. Whether this one will start working on its own, I'm not sure. We'll give it like maybe 10 more minutes, because if not, we're gonna have to call Cricket and wait on hold once again to try to get this one set up. The only reason I think mine worked without having to complete the customer service Cricket call is because I still have my old iPhone and was able to confirm the setup from the other phone, which initially seemed like it wasn't gonna work, but then a pop-up came up like I already previously showed you, and we were able to get that one going. But man, they make it difficult to transfer phone numbers if you don't have the old phone still. So another update on the iPhone debacle, and my wife's phone, not so lucky. And here's a couple things you might want to be aware of. First of all, I've discovered that part of the problem is with Cricket. It's not an iPhone problem. It's not an Apple problem. Cricket does not have a seamless way to transition your iPhone service from one iPhone to the next. However, on the other hand, like on my Visible Wireless account on my other iPhone, they make it very easy. They have this screen right here that just says, on your new phone, download the Visible app and complete service transfer. So this is not a commercial for Visible or anything like that, but all cell phone carriers that offer eSIM service should have a way on their app to just make it seamless to switch out the service from one phone to the next. I really do miss the physical SIM cards. So now the thing is, here's the mistake that my wife made. She traded in her old iPhone at the Apple Store. We got the new phone and we never set up the service until now. But in order for Cricket to set up the service on the new phone, they want to send her a message on the old phone to like verify it's her, right? It's the number associated with the account. Except the phone is gone. So now the only thing to do is to actually go to a Cricket store in person to try to get this resolved. So what a nightmare, honestly. So, I mean, I like Cricket cell phone service. The service itself is very good. But when it comes to switching phones, it's an absolute nightmare. And tip for anybody out there, if you're ever getting a new iPhone, never get rid of the old phone until you have the new phone in your hand working with cell phone service and your number has successfully been transferred. Then you can get rid of your old iPhone. If you haven't done that, hang on to it until you do, because otherwise you could run into some major issues like this. For example, what if there was no Cricket store nearby? What if you don't have a car? What if the nearest Cricket store is 100 miles away? There's problems like that could arise and you're not expecting. Just a heads up for anybody who might have to go through this in the future. So if you're somebody out there who's wanting to buy this brand new, beautiful iPhone 16 Pro Max, or even just the regular 16s, they look like excellent phones this year. Just make sure you follow these couple of steps outlined in this video. First of all, make sure that you don't get rid of your old phone until the new phone is entirely set up and the number is working. That will save you a ton of time no matter which carrier you have. Some carriers make it easy to transition to a new iPhone, others don't, especially with the eSIM. It is just not as simple as it used to be with the old SIM cards. The other thing I recommend is make sure you're around somebody else who has a working cell phone while you're making the transition, in case you do need to call customer service and for some reason you lose access to both of your phones, or you need to get a verification message sent to you, anything like that. It will really help to have a working phone nearby just in case. And if you follow these two steps, you will save yourself hours worth of trouble. So if this video helped you, please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already.